Hello everyone and welcome back. So game 3 of the LeelaKnightOdds against GM Joel Benjamin. Going to start in about 10 minutes. Pardon me. So yeah, just getting ready for that. So it's been yeah, pretty impressive match for Joel so far. Two very strong and controlled performances. Yeah, second game really felt like Leela was getting a sort of opening that it plays very well at odds. But yeah, I think the exchange of knights on move 19 was really not a very good decision at all. Let's just have a little look at that. Yeah, this sequence here. I mean, I think h3 followed by knight e3. Yeah, this is a typical sort of position that that Leela might get somehow. But this move knight e3 and after knight g4, I thought, yeah, knight f1 really, might be a better choice. But this move knight d5, I mean, it just really killed all white's activity. I mean, the two bishops are there, but they've got no scope at all. As long as Joel is careful, and well, he was incredibly careful to to make sure that that Leela never got a sniff of counterplay. And as always, of course, Leela defends brilliantly, but yeah, with time somehow. Yeah, strong human grandmasters can do an awful lot, keep control, and Joel just never let it. Just never let it slip, never even looked remotely close to even looking like he might let it slip. It was just a very, very good control performance. So very interested to see what happens in the third game somehow. Yeah, I mean, it was before the match, obviously all quite uncertain really about what it was. I mean, I did tend to think that, that with the amount of time that that Joel has, that it would really be possible for him to hey F. Burton, hello. It would really be possible for a strong player to keep control. And you keep on getting surprised by Leela when playing at odds, but yeah, with this amount of time, you can just sit back, take a couple of minutes, recalibrate, and then off you go again. And you can do that maybe 5 or 6 or 7 times, I think. Whereas with 3+2, of course, you're having to react almost immediately. With 10+3, you've got a few moments where you can take a bit of time, but yeah, it's still quite tricky somehow. So yeah, I mean, very interesting to see, and obviously it's only 2 games, but so far Joel's doing an absolutely fantastic job. So that's very nice to see. Very interesting. It's. But I do think that even if you say, well, at this time control, a strong human grandmaster has got an advantage and all of that. I do think it's got a great future as a training mechanism, because well, I mean, you saw just how accurate and precise Joel needed to be in order to finish off this overwhelming looking position, and you just don't get that sort of that sort of practice against human players normally, or when you do get it, then you're not used to it, and then you don't cope well. It's yeah, I think it's a brilliant training exercise. Hey, St. Jukes. Yes, indeed. It would be surprising, but it still is possible. Yeah, I was thinking, I think somebody in the chat said, 4 wins, 1 loss, and a few draws. That sort of seems, yeah, maybe a little optimistic even at the moment, but well, we'll see. It's obviously there's also an element of tiredness going to creep in. And obviously, yeah, it does also depend a bit on the opening type of position that you get somehow. But yeah, I mean, Joel's doing a super job. So yeah, really good to see. Ah. Yeah, 10 o'clock here in the UK. Late night Leela. Hey, Shravan. Good to have you on the stream. I just hope it's not past Leela's bedtime. So we should be playing, I think we're going to be playing again with the G1 knight missing. So yeah, we're going to see what happens there. Normally get quite a bit of 1e4 normally like that. A little bit of 1d4 as well, actually. D4, you tend to get the Jabava London system. So 1d4, 2 knights c3, 3 bishop f4. And that worked quite well against a wonder because he was quite well prepared against it. And yeah, no, I mean, it's. I think it's always good. I think it's always good to remind people that the GMs are quite strong too. It's there's a lot of things that human players do incredibly well. But yeah, I think you do see that that time is very, very important for humans, which I think also shows the value of good time handling in games. I mean, what I found was that when I was younger and I was professional, I wasn't really that bothered about getting short of time. I felt I was pretty good in time trouble, and I liked getting as good a position as possible. Before entering into time trouble. But when I got a bit older, I sort of understood really that I wasn't half as good at coping with time shortage as I was, and started paying a lot more attention to it. And yeah, and what I really noticed was that I needed that extra time, not necessarily to calculate or anything, but if unexpected things happened, I really needed a bit of time just to reset and carry on somehow, and it's so I think if this is going to teach you anything, it's going to teach you that having time to think about things is really, really important, and well, good time handling is really important too. So yeah, I think playing against Leela at odds is a really fantastic training. As I said, if I was going to start again playing professionally, then to get myself back up to scratch, I'd definitely be doing a lot of that. Playing against Leela with contempt, and also playing against Leela at odds. It's a really nice training method. But okay, just only 2 games so far. SSS, small sample size, as they always say in engine chess. So we'll have a look how it's going to be. Oh, thank you, Spicy Eskimo. Yeah, I like Daniel a lot, actually. I can thoroughly approve of a good comment about his channel. Yeah, no, I mean, I think he's very, very good. He was a coach. He was my coach, actually, briefly, a very long time ago when I was about 9 or 10, I think. Very good coach as well. So yeah, very good, clear guidance somehow. So, and I think he's the same in his channel somehow. So I watched when I did my my own series on Deep Blue. So I did a series on the both Deep Blue matches actually, and yeah, I spent a lot of time looking at his stuff on there. Thought it was very good. Ooh, 15 seconds. Let's have a look at the countdown here. Just see, it's counting down, isn't it? Yeah, that's good. Just now. Okay, let's refresh. Right now. Right now. Hasn't started yet, though. Ah, there we are. Great. There is a knight missing. And off Leela goes. E4. Yay! E4. Like that better. So I'm just having a look now to see. I've got a little database of games. Ooh, Leela's going for it. Little database of games that Leela has played before. Or D3, never played that before against Joel. So D3 is new. Leela had played. Would you believe it? Queen F3, and knight c3 as well, but not d3. So that's quite interesting. Let me have a look to see whether Leela has played. Leela will certainly have played d3 before. Yeah, so 10 games we've got in the past month. c6 and queen e2. Yeah, just one game in the past month with this line. I've seen it more often in the past. I'm using the Hierarchs database system because ChessBase can't do anything at all with odds chess. But Hierarchs doesn't seem to care, so it can just do a nice little tree of games, you know, with starting with odds. So very, very useful. So yeah, I mean, Black's got several possibilities here. I mean, d5 is actually a very reasonable gambit. I mean, also in the normal bishop's opening with bishop c4, and Leela just playing bishop b3, not taking it on. We might transpose to some other games there, but this is really yeah, this is really not that great for white. I mean, normally actually you do it with a knight on g1, and then your king's caught in the center. Here at least you can castle, so it's not so bad. But yeah, it's worth giving up a pawn, you know, for that sort of play, really. So bishop b3, Leela not going anywhere near that. And now Black's got to decide what to play. There's a couple of ideas. I mean, bishop b4 check is played in the normal lines there. The idea being that after c3, bishop d6, seems like you've wasted a tempo there, but you've stopped the knight coming to c3, attacking d5. But I don't think that's. But I think Leela is going to play c3 anyway, so I'd probably recommend playing bishop d6 in this position. I think that would be the most natural there. Sometimes you also throw in a5 as Black. That's also possible. Just throw him to go a4. Yeah, I'm sure Leela will play c3 anyway. So I think bishop d6 is definitely worth it there. Just wondering whether, a bit surprised I don't have any more games there, really. I could have sworn I'd I'd seen loads of games in this line, but yeah, somehow not that many there. I do always prefer it when I see Leela playing e4, really. You know, it's always gives me a bit more of a reassuring feeling. But I mean, what is Leela aiming for in this position? It's I mean, it's simply a slow Lopez position like this, and then we're gradually going to you know, move the kingside pawns forward. So yeah. Hey, Mr. Beads, Leela going for sharp stuff. Yeah, not quite. Oh, bishop g4, interesting. f3 and castles. So yeah, interesting from Joel, just forcing f3 there. Yeah, disrupting Leela's setup there. I do think it's one of the good things about this this system somehow for white is that, you know, well, if Black takes on e4, I take on e4. I mean, you can kind of absorb the exchange of a pair of minor pieces quite easily somehow because you get some stuff in return. You know, it's there are some openings where you sort of look at the exchange of minor pieces and you think, not sure that that's not sure there's very much left in it really, but. I'm wondering whether Joel is actually going to play knight d7 here and try and go knight c5 quickly. I'm sort of wondering actually how. Well, I guess we just go c3 maybe. Sort of looking at ideas. Well, takes on here is going to be ugly. It doesn't quite work. Yeah, I mean, what I'm just still maybe knight a6. Might take and take there, although I'm trying to get this bishop exchange and also make it sort of tempting for black. You know, the idea is just in general. I mean, I was just thinking about doing something like this, where I'm actually hitting those two. So I'm actually going to pick up an extra pawn there. If knight a6 takes, I could take on here, but then I'll take on here simply. And yeah, this is pretty good for black, really. You know, I've got knight c5, queen d6, or queen d7. You know, it's pretty good. My king's a little bit odd for now, but there's no white development to make it difficult somehow. I mean, I could do something like this. This is possible to grab that pawn, but yeah, it's not super fantastic. I suppose I could throw in a bishop a4 check. Now that might be a little bit irritating. Yeah, I want to try and sort of exploit White's position before anything else happens somehow. But I do like this idea of going knight a6. I suppose I could I take on here? Yeah, I mean, the idea is really that, you know, I'm trying to offer a pawn and just get my pieces sort of, you know, develop quickly and cause some damage to him, you know, and I don't mind giving up a pawn if I can exchange off queens, put it that way, you know. It's kind of something that you'd kind of want to have prepared, really, I suppose, you know, rather than making it up as you go along, really. But it's not totally stupid. But yeah, having the bishop opposed here, it does give black the opportunity, you know, to at some stage play d takes c4 and then just swap off the bishops, which can be quite useful somehow. So Joel's having a good think here. He's played knight bd7, interesting. And king h1 played, also interesting. So I wonder whether Joel's going to play knight c5, actually. And just grab the bishop pair. It's definitely sensible. What on earth would Leela be thinking about then? Would Leela think about taking this one? Maybe. I could take. Wouldn't really want to go queen d5, knight c3. This is the sort of thing you don't particularly want to get into with black. And it's just gone bishop e7. c3 and castles. Oh, okay, castles. So Leela's playing bishop c2. Okay, we've got Leela's got the standard that Leela likes. So that slightly odd move f3 in, but not too bad. So what's black going to do? I mean, number of possibilities, really. I mean, you could just try and expand on the queen side, or you can try and, you know, you can first of all just sort of organize yourself properly, you know, and yeah, rook e8, bishop f8 is quite common. Knight f8 to g6, not impossible either. Wow! I had not expected that. Leela. Cosa fa? What are you doing, Leela? Interesting. Well, this is more what we were looking for, yeah? So if d takes c4, I guess we're just going d takes c5. That's what Leela's aiming for. Takes, and then something, maybe knight takes, for example. That's quite an aggressive attacking setup somehow. And if you take on here, I am guessing, not sure, that Leela will go here. Something like this, and then f4, maybe. Interesting. I mean, there's also for black, there's also a move like knight g6 here, you know, which is possible too, but it's a little bit more risky. It probably wouldn't necessarily be what Joel is particularly looking for. You know, some complications already somehow, but okay. I mean, you can only, you can't, you know, avoid complications all the time. Leela's going to be able to create some stuff sometimes. So, yeah. All right, let's have a look. E takes d4 is the move that I think is best, because if cd4 we go takes, and I am guessing that takes queen d4 is just totally good for white, for black. I can't see any particular advantage in doing that for white. So I do think that after e takes d4, we're going to play e5. Then you take on here. So if I take on here, you take on here. Is that correct? I think so, because after... Oh, not so clear. I was thinking I was going to be really clever and promote with a knight and attack the queen. But yeah, you just take with the queen there, yeah? Curses. That's what comes of... yeah, I mean, yeah, you can of course you can just take, of course, but okay, you know, you're 2 pawns up, but you've lost a piece back. So, but okay, d takes c3. I mean, I don't think that you'd want to take, right? I mean, I think you'd want to play b takes c3. Well, maybe you do. Maybe you can. I mean, I could even go bishop f6. I mean, it's the sort of thing where you say, you know, I do like this, then I go bishop f5, and I'm just swapping off. You've got your piece back, but I'm swapping off lots of stuff, and I'm going to be 3 pawns up. So I can't imagine that that's a good idea. So I would have thought that after d takes c3, we'll go b takes c3. Yeah, I don't think it's, yeah. I don't think, yeah, that's, yeah, this is the line I'm looking at. I don't, I think this is more like it, I think. And after knight d7, then we play f4, looking for f5. Can be quite dangerous. Yeah, I suppose one of the questions is whether I can go here. But okay, maybe I go g4 then. This can get quite dangerous. This can get quite dangerous. Yeah, I mean, I can go something like knight c5. I can do this because after f6, I've got bishop f6 with the pin. But I guess that I could just play the queen to h5 randomly. And yeah, you know, I mean, it's dangerous, right? It's not necessarily what you want. So yeah, I mean, either Joel finds something really accurate to deal with this, or he's going to have to run the gauntlet and take another pawn and make it sharp. Just wondering, let's have a look. It takes there. So that's interesting. Looking for specific, very specific ways to try and do something. You know, G3 followed by F4 would be a little bit awkward, I think. So takes knight E5, F4, and then you're sort of thinking, is there some way I could just give something back and just break the whole? I mean, I could go something like bishop G4, queen F2, for example, and knight E4. But yeah, this is not bad enough for white to you know, to be worth doing, I think. So I could try something like queen C7. I was vaguely wondering about doing it like this, you see, and that would be quite decent. But I suppose after queen C7, I could do something like, well, if I'm particularly excited, I could go F4, you know, and just try and force a pawn to E5 any old way. I could also take on here and take on here, but that's when I was sort of thinking maybe I can go here, attack this one. I've got the F4 square. It's maybe just going to be very hard for white to have any sort of good position there. Queen C7 is not stupid. So yeah, I mean, I think takes. It's not bad for black, but I think this is going to be, you know, I think for Leela this is a reasonable exit from the opening. You know, some decent attacking chances. I'm guessing that this one is the most crucial, but yeah, definitely think that, that white's got some attacking chances. Not necessarily what I'd particularly want to have against Leela. It's the sort of thing where you really want to tag team in Stockfish somehow, and you know, and yeah, I do think that I always feel happiest when I see Leela playing E4 somehow in with the G1 knight missing. But yeah, it is important, I suppose, that, you know, certainly for a match like this, that you know. Oh, okay. So Queen C7 played, and then D takes C5. Okay. I'm a little surprised by that. Why isn't Queen H5 good? Oh, don't tell me Leela's going to swap off queens. Don't say that. Oh, no! Leela. Well, you're going to play E5, I suppose. That is the positive point. You're going to play bishop D7. You're going to play E5, aren't you? I'm a little bit not sure. It's been played, yeah, F5. So yeah, no, you've got to go bishop D7. It looks more or less. And then I go E5, and your knight's in a bit of trouble. But how much trouble is it really in, actually? I mean, Yeah. Yeah. I'm not sure. I've got a bad feeling that there's some well, a good feeling for Joel, of course, but there's just some way of just resolving this to just a really good end game for black, you know, which is just not what you're looking for really as Leela. I mean, I think I'm sure that Joel's also looking at bishop c8 because you get knight d7 after as well. Now I'm putting it to d7 just as a natural move, but it's also not stupid. Knight d7 because, you know, I mean, I'm sort of thinking about this position and thinking, well, you know, okay, I've lost a piece for a pawn. That's true, but I've got quite a bit of nice stuff, really. You know, I mean, I'll take it simply, you know, as a position. You know, I'll probably put my bishop on d7 for. I can't do that, yeah, obviously, but e5. I mean, bishop g5. I can go g4 here. But again, I'm sort of looking at this really and thinking, maybe after here I could go knight f3. Actually, come to think of it, is this legal? Rook e2, bishop d3, takes, knight f4. Well, it's getting quite complicated. This. No, it's getting very complicated. This, yeah. I mean, this is complicated. This is complicated. So I mean, that's good from that point of view. But I'm just exchanging off the queens. Not sure. Let's have a look. Most natural move, I guess, is to play g6. Because that does give us a square for the knight, and you know, if you go f6, then I'll go something like bishop to g4, and well, I've got two pawns, and this one's weak as well. I mean, it's horrible, right? So I'm guessing after g6 we go f6. Well, no, we don't, though, do we? Because now I can't go g4 at all. No. I suppose I've got to go g4 then, but maybe what I should do then is just sort of try and hold it. I mean, I can play e6. I mean, this is the idea, to have f6, f7. But I mean, after I go e6, you're just going to take it off, right? And you're just two pawns up there for very little compensation somehow. So, not very keen on that. I can go something like knight b3. Stops the bishop coming to c5. I mean, I keep those threats. Possible. I'm not wowed by it, but to be honest, but okay, it is quite complicated. It is quite complicated. It's just the yeah. Again, you know, I mean, this is the thing. Joel's got plenty of time to work this out. In a 10+3 game, you know, you're getting a bit nervous somehow, but in a longer game, you're sort of thinking, "Wow." I should be able to do something with this. Let's have a look at this line. It's kind of interesting. So yeah, I mean, I'm threatening you know, stuff like g6 as well. So I mean, I think you have to go g4, and then you have knight here. I come knight here. And if h6, then h4. That's the general idea. So I mean that's pretty clear-ish. But what you actually try and do there is to go rook takes e5, and the idea is that if takes, I go rook e2. That's the basic idea. And you're just saying, well, okay, you know, won my piece back, but the position's a total disaster. But then the question is there whether after rook e5 I can do something clever, like play the move knight f3. So I'm forking these two. I've got a lot of pieces on prise, but I'm a piece down and the bishop on c1's on prise. But if takes, I could go knight e5. That would probably work in actual fact. I'm threatening this guy, I'm threatening this guy. Bishop b2, I go rook b1. Bishop c3, I take, and yeah, I could take on h5 or maybe go rook b7. Yeah, there's decent chances for counterplay there, I think. Reminds me very much of an AlphaZero position I saw once. Got g5 as well. Looks like decent counterplay somehow. So where are we? Rook e5, knight f3. But then I want to go rook e2. That's what I want to do. So I mean, I could take here, but everything's collapsing there, so I can't do that. So what I've got to do after rook e2 is to go bishop d3. That is the key. The key point. Hitting this guy, and I'm also threatening to win some things. Bishop g5 is the big threat. So you're going to take on c1. And now I'm going to take your rook. And we've got those two. So this one here, I just go rook b1. Now, yeah, I'm not quite sure what that position is really. Suspect that it's actually quite good for black, to be honest. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3 pawns, the 2 bishops. This must be very good for black. But okay, it's complicated at least. Knight f4 is interesting. Hitting this one. Now, to be honest, but this is maybe vaguely interesting. Or maybe not. It depends. Yeah, I mean, I was thinking here, maybe knight e5. This knight's still in a little trouble, and I'm sort of maybe going to come in there. Not 100% convinced about that, but it's vaguely worrying maybe. But maybe after rook e1, I can just go rook e8. Then if rook f2, knight f4. Not clear though. It's complicated enough to cause some doubts. It's just that, yeah, a little bit nervous about swapping off queens like that. But I guess at Leela's there's quite a bit of stuff at least in this position, so it is kind of possible. It's a complicated position, slightly unexpected. It hadn't occurred to me at all. So I'm not surprised that Joel was surprised because, yeah, I thought that, I thought after Queen c7 that f4 was the only way to play. But the question is whether we can find something in this line somehow. The key point being that we get the knight to d7. I suppose I could even, not impossible, g6, g4. Maybe there's some sort of danger in there, you know. Not impossible. Or maybe bishop h6. No, I don't think you'd. This isn't the sort of thing you'd really want to go for somehow. So bishop d7 played, and now e5. Then we're going to see what Joel does. Yeah, I mean, I always like concrete lines, so I think I would probably play bishop g5 and try and resolve this concretely. You know, sort of feel that that is in the position for black to resolve this concretely. But I mean, this is also not stupid by any means. Also vaguely tempting. I'm guessing this. But I mean, I do feel at some stage that, you know, White's just going to end up being forced to do something like this. And then we get this, and I'm just sort of thinking, well, I'm just 2 pawns down, really. And the position's been clarified an awful lot, so yeah. Probably g6 is the best move, but bishop g5 is also not stupid. Can we think of anything else? It's always one of the benefits, of course, of being a commentator, that you don't actually have to make a choice. You can just say, well, lots of tempting possibilities, and it's up to the person himself to decide. But yeah, that's that's kind of the problem, right? That's the big that's always the issue. So but I think the bishop g5 will be pretty good, to be honest. But probably g6 is a bit more the natural human move, I guess. Yeah, g5. I thought about g5. It's just I'm a bit nervous about it because nothing's protected somehow. Like, I can always play g3 just to. I'm not sure. It's possible. Not sure. Just nervous about it. It feels loose. But yeah, it's definitely a possibility as well. Yeah. I think Joel played g6. Bishop g5 is a little bit odd. And you can make a mistake on there, whereas g6, I think, you know, it feels like you're kind of keeping a lid on things somehow. Quite like this one. Problem is that it's hard to defend the the 5 pawn without dropping the f5 pawn. That's the big problem. I mean, I can't play the knight to f3 because of gf, so yeah, I don't really. And obviously f6. I'm just claiming that this is rather good, which I think it is. I mean, yeah. So it's going to be intriguing to see what Leela plays. Yeah, g5 is possible. I'd be really surprised if Joel played it. It looks very, very loose somehow, and you know, sort of like g5, g3. I've also got stuff like bishop d1 just to attack. This kind of, yeah. Just don't quite feel it somehow. Ugh. Anything else I can think of? Well, let's have a look at this move, bishop g5 again. Here, takes, here, rook e2, bishop d3, bishop c1, bishop e2, knight f4. Yeah, I mean, I can. As always, you know, you've always got this idea of coming here and here, but I think just being a pawn down in a rook and knight ending is probably just you've got to accept that that's probably quite a good result for white. But after takes here, I guess I could play the move knight to g5, maybe. Not completely silly. That knight's in a little bit of problems. Can do stuff like f6, of course. I can grab an extra pawn and then grab here. Still losing for white, I think. Yeah, I mean, I can also just go rook e7. Hard to shift that knight from that rank. Well, I could play d4, of course. And shift you like this. Yeah, d4, c4. And I play c5 and play the bishop to c6. That's not good. It's complicated, right? I mean, it's knight g1. Come here, I think. I think if that's where the point you're saying it. Knight f4, knight e5. Yeah, I mean, I was looking at. I was also looking at rook e1, knight f4, knight e5, and then I thought g5. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, maybe not. The problem is this is quite solid somehow. Yeah. h4, go h6. King f8. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe not trivial though to unravel. It's tough anyway. I mean, there's plenty of stuff to calculate there. It's bizarre, really. Yeah, I mean, it's quite hard to get your head around the fact that you're a piece up and you still got to do a bit of work. It's quite strange, really, but. I'm trying to find something clearer. I just keep on thinking I must have missed a simple little way of playing. I mean, in all fairness, yeah, I mean, I could play the move bishop c5. I mean, this is also possible, right? And after g4, I play something like this. This is also definitely possible. But yeah, winning not yet. I mean, maybe this was this the better one? Maybe just takes on here, takes on bishop b2. Maybe this was the better one. Rook b1, and then I take on here. Obviously, if I take on b7, your knight's very, very powerful there, so I have to take it off. And now I've got a couple of possibilities. I mean, I could take off and take here and come here, maybe. Not so crazy, right? I mean, I've got d4 coming in, c5. Or if I want to be a bit safer, I can just play. I was going to say b6, but maybe b5 is quite decent, just to be able to reinforce, with b4, a5. Yeah, and this guy's hanging. I mean, it's not totally clear, but what is it? It's three pawns, and then the two bishops. This is really. You'd be pretty happy if you got this in the game. You'd definitely be thinking you were winning somehow. Yeah, no, I mean, this is This is not stupid. This is not stupid what Leela's done. It's definitely challenging. And Joel's down to 27 minutes. So, no, indeed. So G6 played by Joel, G4. Oh, okay. Oh. Oh, then Leela doesn't have anything special planned. Just 2 pawns down now. I guess we're just going to take and take here. This is totally lost. Huh? I mean, like totally and utterly lost, really. Hey, learning quietly. Yeah, but this is horrible for white. So I think Joel just takes like this, takes there, and then the G4 pawn's hanging, and I don't even really know how to deal with that. So after H3, I go H5. I don't see how you're avoiding losing another pawn, actually. That's my big problem. All right, bishop D1. Yeah. Well, let's see what Leela can do, but I'm not very hopeful, I have to say. I'm not sure. I mean, I'm wondering whether bishop G5 could be possible, just to swap off some more pieces. I mean, knight E4, I guess, is what you have to do. Obviously, you're looking for here. But I can just take, I think, and go F5 here. Or maybe bishop C4 first and then F5. Yeah. Not sure. Certainly there's a lot of good moves for black here. I mean, F5 is also very interesting here. Not quite sure why it does, actually, after F5. I guess we're going H3. It's just I'm a bit nervous about this sort of stuff, and we're coming into the F file somehow. I mean, I can go knight B3 to D4, sack. But yeah, it's not really doing it for me. Yeah. So far, I'm really feeling that this is looking very much like another Joel win. Yeah, H3. Okay, that's good play from Joel. So I guess we're going to take on G4 here. takes, and then rook to f8. Yikes. Yeah, I guess. I mean, I suppose you play king g2, and yeah. Yeah, I mean, you can also just play to keep control, right? I mean, you can just play a move like bishop d6 as well. Or even, probably even better, just to play a move like rook d8, maybe. Knight b3, you play c5. I mean, that's the sort of, yeah, you know, you can play in that sort of way anyway, and it's just going to be very tough for one to do anything there. Yeah, rook f8 is a good move. So I'm guessing, oh, a4, okay. That is a slight surprise. Okay, I guess what Leela's claiming is that you can just take, and you're sort of, you're still surviving. You'll block somehow in various ways. Ooh. I'm not going to do it, of course, but I mean, even this is starting to look quite slightly worrying somehow. Very active. Knight g5s. Probably be a bit too much to do that, but yeah, I mean, I think Leela wants to play a5 to a6, get a pawn on there at least for the future endgame. Yeah, it feels a little bit like fiddling whilst Rome burns. This really, but it's yeah. I mean, in principle, if you get a pawn onto a6, then yeah, there's always going to be some chances later in the endgame. You know, a pawn a6 against a7, suddenly get a rook ending, and you're grabbing the pawn. So that's it's not so silly, and obviously Leela's calculating that it can. It's not going to lose anything on the back rank. It's a little bit odd, but yeah, I mean, we've seen it quite often. And you know, if black plays a6, then yeah, well, there might be a chance later for a knight to attack something. The big question, though, is yeah, you know, how is white following up somehow? Okay, so Joel's just swapping off there. Yeah, I mean, going h5 is not silly, must be said. It's a bit hard to understand what white is going to be doing there. You're getting a knight inactive. That would also be a pretty good way of doing things, I think. Yeah, rook can come via a4 indeed. I mean, rook a8. I mean, rook a d8 would have been quite interesting as well, just to try and play d4. That would also have been quite interesting. But okay, you know, black's doing incredibly well. Yeah, slightly surprising, really, that Leela doesn't think this is so bad. But okay, I mean, Leela's having to suspend suspend reality as well in order to play good odds chess. And it's a very interesting idea, this you know, this e5 and f5. But yeah, again, though, it would, you know, if you look at the amount of time that Joel's taken, yeah, it probably would have been very effective at 10+3 or something like that. Okay, so Joel's yeah, doing some quite nice stuff. They wants to get his knight active. And I suppose if you wanted to criticize Joel, you could say he's maybe not playing in the most active way, but this is absolutely very good. I think he's probably also thinking about playing c5, bishop c6 as well. Bringing the knight to e6, the bishop to c6 as well. That's a very good plan. I think knight e6 is what he's going to do next. That seems very natural. I mean, just got the threat of knight f4 and let white worry about how to deal with that. Not that Leela will spend too long worrying about it, but yes, to Yen, it's 2-0 to Joel, and so far looking like 3-0 is a distinct possibility. Okay, got to finish. Got to win these one positions somehow, but maybe that Joel is thinking about playing bishop g5 actually, which would be a pretty good idea, I think. Because we had this idea of knight e4 before, but it's not going to work. And I just take on here, and here we can now just take off and win the whole house. So maybe bishop g5 is the best. The nice thing about it is that, you know, if you swap off the dark square bishop, then your knight gets a lovely square on f4 there. And again, it's kind of maybe knight b3 takes. Knight e6 after. Cover those two squares. I played bishop d6. Okay, so Leela took on f8. Yeah, another good idea here. So I'm thinking that probably Joel may well take on f8 because you've got this idea of going rook e1 here, which looks rather awkward to say the least. Well, maybe you shouldn't overestimate it, I suppose. I mean, I'll probably throw in a6, let's say b6, for example. Go knight b3. And if rook e1, I've got bishop d2, so I am actually sort of escaping. Probably not as good as you think. Looks very strong, but yeah, he's gone rook f8, and now knight b3. So I guess Joel's going to play knight e6 because it looks very nice to move a knight into f4. Yeah, I'm not quite sure. Not quite sure what Leela should be doing here. Played bishop e3. So knight f4 check is pretty natural. Obviously, if you take off, then that's all the threats against the queen side gone. So I'm assuming that Leela wants to play something else. I'm assuming it's got to be king h1, really. Is that true? Seems barely credible. Knight d3. Possible, I suppose, but pretty bad somehow. I mean, the other thing that black can do is just play the move c5, which is quite interesting. But I suppose that this is not so clear. Well, no, probably not. Could be. Yeah, time running. Still 18 minutes though. 18 minutes. He's gone knight f4 and Leela's gone king g1. I'm very much backing Joel here still. He's a very good player. I mean, his rating doesn't really reflect his quality somehow. So yeah. Okay, it's not somehow Leela's surviving here somehow. You know, sort of hasn't lost yet anyway. So that's the important thing to start with. And now the question is whether Joel can find some concrete sort of ideas, and whether Leela's got some cunning stuff, you know, to stay afloat. I mean, rook e8 is actually quite. Just wondering what on earth we do about rook e8, to be honest. I mean, check. I go check. King f2, I go check. King g2, I go knight b2 or something. I mean, oh, little repetition from Joel, letting Leela know who's boss, and now going knight d3. I think rook e8 was quite strong, but okay, bishop a7, and now I guess that Joel's going to take on b2. I think I'd call that a slight inaccuracy. I think, unless because it seems just a little bit giving white what he wants, really. I think still very good for black, of course, but I mean, I'm thinking, for example, bishop c5. Oh, he's gone bishop e2. It's possible too. Yeah, I'm thinking knight c4, maybe bishop c5 here. In all fairness, I thought bishop c5 early was fine, but yeah, I mean, something like this. Yeah, I mean, I'm just randomly making moves here, but something like this. Rook f4. Not sure. Joel's got plenty of time still. 16 minutes should be fine. 50%. My goodness me. Leela. At least a draw. Ooh. I still remain to be convinced, I have to say. But somehow, yeah, I think this knight d3 takes b2 was, I think, yeah, you sort of let, yeah, Leela's just got a bit more activity simply. Yeah, you sort of let white escape a little bit, but still, you know, those three weak pawns there. You know, black's got a beautiful structure, well-placed pieces, you know, I mean, yeah, you know, I still think that Joel's odds on to make this one, but it's slightly less clear than it was before. That is true. I mean, I do wonder. I mean, if I go Rook f4, is there something against this? I'm just running Bishop g4, and well, you know, I want to have a spot on for my knight without getting double pawns or anything. The idea is Bishop e3. I want to go Rook e4, which is a bit awkward. King f2. I could even go Bishop takes g4, or I could go Bishop g3. So Rook f4. If knight c5, I go Bishop g4, which again just looks very, very strong. So I'm not quite sure. Not quite sure what White's doing after Rook f4. Need a good move. I mean, if I go something like Bishop c5, I can go Bishop e5 maybe. Attacking this one now and this one as well. Knight c4 played. Okay, Bishop d4. That's a surprise. Wasn't expecting that one. So once again, what's happening after Rook f4? Why aren't we just grabbing this pawn? It's a good question, to be honest. I'm not 100% sure how to answer it. I don't really know. Rook f4. How would we deal with that? I mean, I suppose we could do something like knight c5, and I suppose the idea is to do this, which would be reasonable. I mean, but you could just take there, but maybe just play Bishop f1 or something like this. I'm not quite sure, and just Rook f4 a6. Yeah, it's possible. It's possible, and so a bit of a shame to sort of give up your a pawn like that, and I think we're just kind of just winning another pawn here. Not sure. Joe's still got 11 minutes left, so you know he's got to. one or maybe two bits of concrete calculation left in him, I think. So, bishop c8, king g2. So bishop in c8, it held back a6 and anticipates knight c5. It's a good move in principle. King g2. So, just looking again, how about rook f4 again? Rook f4. Yeah, again, I'm not quite sure how to deal with those. This rook f4 idea. I mean, I could play rook f1 and swap things off that way, but yeah, you would have thought that would be quite promising somehow. Because I can also just hit this pawn then afterwards. So yeah, I may be missing something. Simply that is of course quite possible. But I mean, g5, I just go rook f5 here, and here I've got knight check, which is really quite unpleasant, I think. So not sure. You're spending quite a lot of time there. I'm pretty sure you must be calculating this. I can't think what's wrong with it. I mean, unless, I suppose, I could go knight c5, I suppose. Oh, he's gone rook e8. Okay. I was thinking maybe knight c5, and then the idea is takes. I go king here and fork these two, maybe. Rook e8 played. Takes, and knight c5. Okay, but we are just going to be lots of pawns down. Yeah, what's wrong with... Surely this is just... I mean, I go rook b1 here, and then you go bishop to c8. That's the important thing. So I think if you go rook e5, for example, I'd probably just take and go a6, which is rather embarrassing. Followed by rook there and there. Although, I mean, black would still be at least fine. Rook b1, bishop c8. I mean, it's 3 pawns, of which 2 are passed. I wouldn't really have thought that, you know, that this is great chances for black. I mean, I could go rook e7 as well. Just threatening to take that one. But okay, I do sort of think that this would be just winning this pawn would be pretty nice, really. Hard to believe that, yeah, unless there's some cunning way of activating stuff that I'm missing. Hard to believe, really, that Yeah, rook b1, bishop c8. No, I don't know. I mean, I can go rook, something like rook b4. I can go rook e5. I guess I could maybe manage to get one of the pawns, but still, you know, I just play a few moves and it's looking really bad. So yeah, I'm not sure. Not sure whether this. I mean, I guess Leela just had to trade somehow. I didn't really. Somehow I didn't think so. Actually, yeah, I thought King f2 was possible. I really thought King f2 was possible. I mean, there is this move Bishop g3, but then I take and go Knight c5, and I'm sort of covering everything. I thought this looked okay, or okay, you know, not stupid somehow. Rook e5. Okay, so I guess Joel's gonna take the pawn with the rook, yeah? I mean, Joel's trying to be sort of hyper accurate here. I'm wondering about it though. So rook g5, I'm guessing I go king f3 here. Bishop g4, king f4 is a little bit awkward. I mean, I haven't got bishop f6 because of rook f5, but looks like it could be awkward. Oh, so rook e4 played. Okay, and now king f2. Well, you should take the pawn. So bishop g4. I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't know. I'm really not sure that Leela can draw this one. Yeah. Maybe go rook a4, but I mean, we bring the king in, we go h5, g5. Yeah, I think... I mean, I really am expecting Joel to win this one somehow. Bishop e3. It's a rather strange move. What is Leela doing? What is bishop e3 all about? Rook d1. So, I mean, rook e4 now seems natural to meet rook d8 with rook e8. And I know it's opposite coloured bishops, but I can't believe that this one's drawn. Well, we'll have to see. Yeah, I mean, rook e8 here. Whoa, Leela. I mean, seriously? Wow. Is this how Leela wants to do it somehow? Bishop h6, I guess, yeah? Yeah. Crazy. You can't keep this. Surely you just can't keep this, right? I mean, nah, this is never going to work. I mean, hard to believe, to be honest. Bishop f8. This is something quite amazing, but I don't believe that this is going to be... I can't believe that this is drawn. I mean, I'm quite willing to believe that it's not easy. But drawn is quite a big... It's quite a big step to drawn somehow. That'd be amazing. That would be quite sensational. Yeah, I mean, I was sort of assuming that I could bring my king round here and sort of wait white out, but I'm wondering whether I really can or not. Wow. Well, yeah, no, I mean, I understand king g5 stops it. I thought that I would be able to come round and sort of wait white out somehow, but it doesn't look... Doesn't look like it. Wow. That's amazing. Yeah, king there, we just meet it with that. Now bishop d8. Yeah, I mean, the way that you that's amazing, this. Amazing. Simply amazing. I hadn't seen that coming. Poof. Yeah, this is the point. I mean, you can actually wait indefinitely. But the amazing thing is that it wouldn't even matter, even if you got to h3, it wouldn't matter at all. I mean, you're going to get to h3. I mean, I can play king h4 in actual fact, yeah. But you could even allow you there, because after h4, as long as my bishop's on this diagonal, I can't come across, so I'm always going to lose the pawn. This is hyper accurate, but it's not even necessary. Wow. That is incredible. Utterly incredible. Yeah, okay, OCB draws, but this one's quite unusual, really. 2 passed pawns. I think we thought it was 400, 500 ELO, I think. No, more, actually. I think because Joel's, well, let's give Joel his proper rating, which is probably, 25, 50 plus. It should be about 600, 700 ELO difference in principle. Yeah, this is quite amazing. So presumably this was what Leela was thinking about. Oh my goodness me. Amazing. Utterly amazing. I mean, because I can sort of put my bishop on here so it defends the pawn, and then when you go king h4, I go g5 check. But yeah, then you take off, and then I go king h3, I get my pawn down, but I can't move it any further. So yeah. Oh, sorry, I think it's been drawn. Sorry. There. Hey, Joel.
Hey, I'm not too upset about that draw. I didn't I wasn't all that brilliant in the opening, and then to win an ending where you only have a pawn or two against Leela is very, very hard.
It's tough. I have to say, I wasn't expecting that opposite coloured bishop thing, though. That was really, I was quite surprised that it turned out to be drawn. I mean, I thought.
Oh yeah. Obviously, I just didn't. I just said, okay, look, I'm not gonna. There's no way I'm gonna let that thing take off my B pawn and queen A pawn. I've had that. So okay, if the bishop ending is a draw, it's a draw. But I mean, I was surprised it's that easy.
Yeah. No, I was sure you could do some sort of zugzwang, and White had to be careful at some stage, but it doesn't even look like that somehow.
No, yeah, apparently, yeah, because I thought that maybe I can trade pawns on the queen side somewhere, but
yeah,
no, yeah, I don't. Well, maybe there's some. Oh yeah, why can't I just play king f6 and wait, and then put my king on g7? I guess I could do that.
Yeah, that was what I was thinking about.
Yeah, I should have thought more about that.
I was wondering whether White would go to. Yeah, I mean, White can go to.
He's got to move something. Yeah.
Then you go c5. I mean, it might be. Yeah. I don't know. I'm not sure because I might be able to go just bishop f8, something like. Oh no, then g5. G5. Sorry.
Yeah.
I wanted to go h5, bishop h6. Yeah, this might be.
Maybe it even wins. But of course, if the king gets into d, how do I stop him from taking my b7 pawn? I might have to go c5 just to give that up. Yeah,
you come around here. I think somehow maybe to defend it this way.
Yeah, but I could be running out of pawns.
Yeah, you might be running out of pawns. I mean, I might.
I mean, obviously, this at least creates some momentum on the king side. Yeah.
It was quite a crazy defense somehow. Yeah, it was really completely unexpected somehow. I thought Leela had gone completely wrong somehow with that. And so it was quite a shock to see how difficult it was.
Yeah. I mean, did I miss any clear chance earlier in the end game? It was just very hard to work out what was the best thing to do.
Let me have a look. There were a few.
I mean, like around here, I thought I was doing it right. You know, it looked
Yeah,
almost.
yeah, no, definitely.
And then another game with a mysterious A4 A5. I mean,
Yeah,
great
always.
A4. That was
Yeah,
incredible shot.
yeah. No, Rookie 8 was what we were looking
Oh,
at,
instead of 90. Ah, yeah.
and I think this is really strong, to be
Yeah, it
honest.
feels like this should be winning
Yeah,
around here.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Because I think when you somehow taking that pawn on B2,
Loss of coordination and yeah.
you lost some coordination there somehow. But yeah, I think after Rookie 8, I think it's really difficult for White there. Because yeah, I mean, obviously, if you take, I go Rookie 1, and I've got
Oh,
Knight
this is a night
D3, and
check. Yeah.
yeah, this is way better somehow. So I thought that was the. I thought I thought you played really well up till then, but
Yeah,
I
I
thought
just
that
I
was
just
just the
didn't
moment.
I
Yeah,
didn't I thought of playing there were a few moments I kept thinking of Rookie 8, but not in that exact position for some reason. Yeah.
yeah. I think because I think you played it really well up till then, but I thought that was just the moment. After this, you're in the sort of Leela territory somehow, yeah, where it's just
Absolutely.
it's sort of
Yeah.
counterplay, and it's just hard to it's hard to really find the right way to do things somehow, but I think that was the key moment somehow.
Did I have a better way of giving up the piece? It looked like this one worked out pretty
This
well.
was a pretty good way of doing it, I
Pretty,
think.
yeah, good,
I
yeah.
mean, I was looking a lot at playing Bishop G5
Oh,
somehow.
that was my plan, but then I noticed after G4, I wanted to play Rook E5, but then I noticed it could play Knight F3, and
Yeah,
then yeah, well, I just didn't, yeah, I didn't,
yeah,
I didn't want
yeah,
to look
yeah,
anymore once I got to this.
yeah.
Yeah, this
No,
this is
I was looking at. I was looking. I think this is actually quite good for black. I mean, takes. We can go Knight F4, but probably just taking on here is sort of
ah.
it's sort of quite nice somehow. It's 3 pawns, 2 bishops, and
Yeah, I was just afraid to try to calculate this. When
it's
what I did was also good.
what you did was
I
what you
wanted to
did
go
was
simple.
yeah, what you
Yeah.
did was great. It's
I mean,
yeah,
I could have put the bishop on C8, I guess, which would have forced it to play F6.
yeah. I was looking at Bishop
I mean,
C8.
I don't. It's hard to tell which is the best
Yeah,
version.
yeah. I was looking at going Knight D7 here. This doing it this way, but I thought because G4 Knight E5 it's only a pawn you've got, but it's quite nice position somehow. But I thought actually that then White might just play Knight F3 there and sort of do this sort of stuff, which I think is
Yeah, I wanted to kind of clarify the position in
yeah,
some
yeah.
way.
I think what you did turned out beautifully, because somehow it's just White can't keep control of all these pawns somehow, So I think what you did was perfect. I mean, because forcing Leela to play E6. I mean, I was sort of thinking actually, I didn't even see a way to hold the G4 pawn. I couldn't, I was thinking this is totally gone. But okay, this was quite an amazing. Amazing.
I was amazed that it could wait so much with A4 or A5.
Yeah,
I mean, it's hard for me to believe that White doesn't
yeah.
have some better way to play than that. But
Yeah, I mean, it's just this. It's always this thing. It does just long-term endgame stuff. Just saying, well, I'll always have that somehow, and I can.
because
I
I
can
can't
hold the rest.
because it's outgunned on the king side anyway,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
this doesn't waste any time moving over there.
yeah.
Yeah,
Quite a surprising defense. It has to be said, but.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, as I said, you played it really well, and it was just
You
it
know,
was just
I,
that risky
I,
eight
I,
moments, I think. But yeah,
yeah. I mean, I established that I could, could play a game more or less of quality. So I managed to play, 3 fairly quality games in one day.
yeah, absolutely.
And I could tell you, I'm absolutely knackered.
Yeah, I can imagine, Joe.
So if we're doing the science about, what an average grandmaster can do taking on Leela in one day. I would say, average grandmaster is probably not 60 years old, but even younger grandmaster, like more than 3 games would be
Yeah,
really really rough.
yeah,
This is
yeah.
about the limit.
It's a very different challenge, isn't it? Playing engines to humans somehow. You don't get that. You haven't got that feedback. You know that they're not suffering somehow. So yeah, you're in it alone somehow. Yeah, it's always it's not like oh, we're both suffering. We're both tired. You know that one. You know that the other guy isn't tired at all.
And the weird thing is that you have to rest on your own time
Yeah,
because its clock is never running. So
yeah.
it's like you have to constantly be taking these breathers while your own clock is running, and
Yeah,
you just have to say, okay, well, I got time. I'm just have to be super patient.
Yeah. It was. I mean, you played three really nice games today. Really nicely controlled, and within a hair's breadth, I think, of winning all three somehow. So
Yeah, I have to say that it went rather better than than I expected or even really hoped for. I have to say, but okay, there's 2 more days, so there's lots of chances for things to go horribly wrong.
Lots. But I mean, I think I do think what you're showing is that it's possible to control and it's possible to do like this. It's just it's just difficult to do, and you've got to do it. You've got to play really well to do it. But
It's just that you really need the time.
Yeah.
And okay, so if you go up the elo scale to someone stronger than me, then maybe they could do with 30 minutes what I'm doing with an hour. But the extra time just makes a huge difference. I mean, probably would have lost all of these games, if it was much faster than what it was.
Yeah. I mean, it's just so easy to get confused at some stage. Yeah, and you lose the thread, and then you haven't got the time to sit down and react to it. You've got to just, or rather, to work it out. You've got to react straight away. And
and when I saw that I was on the threshold of losing the piece, I'm thinking, okay, I mean, I gotta bear down, work out a good way to give it back. I should be able to keep some advantage, but at least not get into bad positions.
Yeah. And I think what you did was the best way. I mean, I was looking at some more complicated stuff, but I think what you did was really clean and and really strong actually. So
all right, so far so good, and
brilliant, Joel.
Tomorrow will be same times, and we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, have a good rest tonight, Joel. And,
okay, thanks a lot.
Thanks for the great chess.
Okay, take care.
Yeah, you too. Bye. Well, there we are. What a great game. Really, really cool, I have to say. Really enjoyed that enormously. So I hope you did too. It was really quite astounding. Really good. And I mean, Joel, within a hair's breadth, really, I think of winning. I think if he played Rook E8, it would be. I think even Leela would be really suffering to hold that somehow. But an amazing hold somehow. Will be interesting to have a look after Bishop H6 whether there's a way to hold it, because that thing with just waiting and hoping for a chance to play King G7, not sure about it. I don't know whether that's really holding for white, but yeah, I mean, incredible. Again, I mean, it's all about probability, right? About what's the probability that a human will be able to work it out, in practical game. Yeah, even there with time running a little bit shorter, and well, that was a very good judgment from Leela that would be a toughie for a human to work out. It's a draw according to Mr. Beads. Well, Mr. Beads is, of course, a leading, in addition to being a semi-Slav guru, he's also a world-renowned endgame expert. But I'm no, I'm sure he's looked at it with Leela. Possible. I don't know, though, really. I'm sort of slightly dubious about that, to be honest. Where are we? King F6, King F4, and I go something like, Bishop E6, or it's hard to find a good square. C5, maybe. C5, let's do C5 straight away. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, bishop f8, I've got g5, bishop g5. I mean, you have to go somewhere, you know, and I think check is normal, and then I go h6 after. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'd be kind of surprised if this was drawn. You know, I can protect the pawn, I can push these guys. But okay, you know, I mean, I'm willing to... yeah. I'm willing to believe that that it's you know, that it's a draw, but it would have been quite tricky. But on the other hand, yeah, I mean, the right person's playing white, right? I mean, Leela's if anyone's going to defend it as perfectly as possible, it's going to be Leela. But it does look quite tricky for white to hold this. Yeah, really interesting. It's well, there we are. Great first day. Really excellent play from Joel, and very happy. I mean, kind of happy for the match, that Leela managed to scrape this draw somehow. Keeps things nice and interesting from that point of view. So do join us tomorrow at the same time. So it's going to be 5 o'clock in the evening, English time, 6 o'clock European time, and then just carrying on. Yeah, you know, hopefully we're going to have some more great night odds chess. Thanks very much, everyone, for watching. Really enjoyed it today, and hope to see you tomorrow. Thanks for watching.